Oh, come on.
Yeah. Is looking for a second date update with a man named Frank. Hi, Cynthia. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Awesome. What's the story with Frank? Take us from the beginning. How'd you meet?
We met on Match.com. Yeah, I got divorced about a year ago, and I've been kind of spending most of that time getting settled. I got a new place and getting the kids settled, and I feel like I'm at a point now where I can, get out there and meet people. So, yeah, I set up a profile, and I've been going on about 2 or 3 dates a month for the past few months.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's every, week and a half, 2 weeks, getting out there every other weekend.
Yeah, and it's been pretty positive because, I've met a couple of nice guys.
Yeah? And did you date any of them more than once or twice?
One guy I dated for about 5 weeks, actually. It was going really well.
Yeah.
But he decided to go back to his wife. They were separated, but they decided to work things out. So
I always wonder about that. Is there an option on dating sites to say if you're single, divorced, separated?
Legally separated.
Yeah. Because, when is it okay when do you feel solid and safe enough to know that divorce is actually going to happen?
Yeah, because I knew they were separated, and it seemed pretty, solid, but I was wrong. So because of that, I won't date separated men anymore. It's not a good idea. You either have to have never been married or you have to actually be divorced before I'll date you. So.
Right.
Okay. So then you met this guy?
Yeah, so I met him. He has never been married. He's 42, and that concerned me a little bit because, why hasn't he been married? But, things are different. People do just date and they don't get married. I'm actually pretty cool with that.
But it is funny how we're kind of conditioned to immediately kind of have that. I wonder why they never got married.
Yeah, those of us who have been divorced
that?
multiple times like to judge people who've never been married. What is wrong with this person?
Oh, they look at it like, how'd you get this far along without having to do that yet?
He just hasn't,
Did he say, I've just never met the right one, or, I was in a relationship for 20 years with this woman and we just never did the paperwork?
No, it hasn't clicked. He's not the kind of person who's going to just marry for the sake of getting married, which I respect that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I kind of fell into that trap a little bit with my ex, so I totally respect that.
Okay. So then what happened on the date?
Well, we went to dinner. We went to Aladdin's and hit it off. I enjoyed his company. And honestly, the coolest thing is we have a shared passion for traveling. He's got 24 stamps on his passport. I've got 22.
Oh,
you get around.
Cool. And we've been to a lot of the same places, too. So it's kind of like, we've shared these experiences without actually sharing them together, but it gave us a lot to talk about.
Sure.
Yeah. And our bucket lists are very similar. We want to go to Fiji, we want to go to Thailand, Alaska, Kenya. So it was a lot of fun, just, talking about the trips that we've had and the trips we both want to take.
That you want, sure.
Great.
Yeah.
I don't know if a relationship can work, honestly, if one person really loves to travel and the other doesn't.
I completely agree.
That's good.
Unless they really like a lot of space. But the date felt pretty good to you?
Yeah, it felt very natural, and I could totally see myself packing a bag, hopping on a plane with him, taking these trips. So
that's cool. That's a good measure.
Which surprises me because that seems out of character to me. But again, it felt right. So,
yeah.
Overall, we had a really good time. After he walked me to my car, he gave me a hug. I told him I had a great time. Hope we could do it again. He said absolutely.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
Nice.
So that was a good sign to me. But, here we are 5 days later. He hasn't texted. He hasn't called. I did send him a text the next day, but he never responded. So I'm confused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was a pretty complete account. I don't have any questions. You guys?
No.
No? Tell you what, Cynthia, why don't we take a break here? When we come back, we'll just call Frank and see what he thought of you and his date with you, and hopefully get you that second date, or at least a reasonable, satisfying explanation as we continue on Second Date Update here at Cincinnati's Q102. Cynthia met Frank on Match. They had a great dinner date, learned that they have a lot in common, despite, some promising signals there in the end when he walked her to her car and gave her a hug, and she said, let's do this again. He said, absolutely. That sounds like an affirmative to me. But when she reached out, she didn't hear back from the guy, and he's not reached out to her, and there's been no movement, and it's been how long, Cynthia?
It's been 5 days.
5 days. If 5 days were to pass, Jen, if you went on a great date with someone and 5 days had passed and you hadn't heard from that person and you thought for sure you would, what would you think?
First thing I would do would be call you.
There you go.
Because I would have a long list of reasons, probably, the possibilities.
And questions. You'd have questions.
I'd have so many questions and follow-up questions to those.
I really want to do another 5-day challenge with you. All right, you ready to call Frank, Cynthia?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Hello?
Hi, is this Frank?
This is?
Hey, Frank. It's Jeff and Jen at Q102. How are you this morning?
You,
Hi, Frank.
I love that moment of shock where they're like, wait, I don't know. Is this a prank? What do I
Jeff
do?
Good morning,
Jen?
Frank.
I'm sorry,
For
what?
real? For real?
Yeah, we're here. We're all here. Say hi, guys.
Good
Hi.
morning.
Wow.
Today's going to be a big day for you, Frank.
Is this second date update?
It is second date update.
Holy Oh, I can't say.
That's all right. I got it.
Oh, that's really funny because, like, I work with a bunch of women and they love you guys.
Oh,
And,
well, very cool. Now they'll know someone personally who's been on second date update.
That's right. You're a superstar.
that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, they talk about second date update all the time. That whole soaking thing,
Oh, God.
that was insane.
Yeah, I was in a meeting with the vice president, and he was like, "Soaking? I don't want to have this conversation with you."
That's a weird conversation to have. So, yeah, I don't know if what we got going on here is as educational as that episode of Second Date Update. But
Yeah.
we did get a phone call from an admirer of yours. Would you have any clue, any guess as to who might have reached out to us about you?
There are a few different women who could be calling you, and I really don't want to point out someone's faults on the radio. I don't want to embarrass anyone, so I don't even want to know who's on the phone.
No.
But I will say this, just to help you guys out. The list of issues I have come across with women I've dated in the past couple of months, I could actually list them for you because I've only dated a handful.
Oh, okay. Well, what if you were to go ahead and list them and see if she's able to put the pieces together?
Sure, I could say that for sure.
All
One
right.
of these is her. It's multiple choice.
It's gotta
Maybe
be.
she'll know.
She will have to.
So
Okay.
this is not necessarily directed at the woman in question who was on the phone with us.
I
This
don't
is-
even want to know who she is.
You don't want to know. You're just going to rattle off the issues that you've had with a
I
handful of
will
women
just-
you've dated in the past.
I can count them out on my fingers.
Okay, go for it. We're listening.
The list of issues I have come across with women in the past few months are in no particular order. One was a little heavier than her profile suggested, and no diss on that. She's a good-looking woman, just not my thing, and she's a little dishonest.
I'll just write down misrepresented on there.
Okay.
Okay.
A little heavy.
Okay.
One drinks way too much, too fast.
Okay.
Yeah, and one was way too high maintenance, like off the charts, way too high maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
One travels to foreign countries all the time to do drugs, go on drug binges.
Really?
One has a sex dungeon in her basement.
A sex dungeon in her basement?
Like a mini sex dungeon, yes.
Did you visit said dungeon?
New.
You just heard
Again.
about it.
Not my thing. Sex, fine. Dungeons, not so much.
Man, I mean, if you rolled all of those characteristics into one woman on one date, what a good time you would have.
Holy
Yeah, that would be a
mackerel.
wild gal.
Now, these are
so
all
those-
separate. These are all separate women,
those are
correct?
Separate women. Those were the takeaways. Now that I'm going through them in my mind. Those are the women. Whoever's on the phone, you can figure out which one she is. I'll leave you with that. Enjoy the show. You guys are awesome. I don't want to speak. I do not want to speak to the person though because I'd feel bad.
Wow. Okay, so you're ending it here, Frank.
She probably knows which one she is. I will end it there.
Okay.
What an interesting way to handle a second date update.
I like it though.
Yeah, they either come on or they don't.
Yeah.
And, the ones that don't never see the light of day on the radio,
But he's like half in, but we're still getting information.
kind of weird. All right.
Well, let's see if she'll fess up to which one she thinks she is.
Is Frank staying on the line or? I guess not. You just rattled them off and split.
What a cop out, too, kind of, sort of.
You think?
I don't know. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about this.
Yeah.
I appreciate the information, but is it kind of a weenie move? Because he just basically admitted that he ghosted, 5 different women in the past couple months.
But I want to know where Cynthia goes on these drug binge vacations.
Oh,
Well,
I
now
bet
we're
I know.
assuming. Wait a minute.
Is that you, Cynthia?
I'm not going to tell you which one or two that applies to me.
But you think one of them is definitely applying to you?
Yeah, I totally know now.
You can imagine which one we're all thinking here, right?
I don't know. I have multiples.
I was thinking drug vacation.
That's what
You
I
were
was thinking.
thinking
Because
she
they have so much
travels so
travel
much.
in common.
That's right.
I know you all thought it was a cop out. I think I'm honestly grateful. I think, handled it very well.
So you're glad he didn't spill the reason and point the finger.
Look, he was very classy in the way he handled it, and I am not going to say yes or no to anything because then you can narrow everything down. So
We're not going to push.
thank you.
But do you feel this has been resolved for you? Because, that's our main goal here on Second Date Update is for better, for worse, one way or another. We try to give you an answer, and you feel satisfied with that answer?
Well, I'm glad to know now. I'm obviously disappointed because I really did think we clicked and hit it off. I would have rather it have gone a different direction, like maybe he was just having phone issues or something. But to not know is the worst. So I'm very glad I called.
All right. Well, Cynthia, if we can ever help you out again, don't hesitate to reach out.
Well, I'm still on Match.com, so.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on Second Date Update.